Welcome back to the No Brain Podcast, everybody. Today's episode, I'm going to be talking about my fitness transformation. Now, I hope to have my before and after pic up in my thumbnail. If I don't, it should be already before I started talking, so I hope you guys already saw that. Unless I'm dumber than a box of fucking orangutans, should be up. That should definitely be up. So, I'm going to walk you guys through a little bit of what I did and what might help you get to your fitness goals. And maybe you'll learn something on the way. So it started off as a young person. I grew up. I had idols that I saw, such as Superman, the Hulk, other comic characters. I watched the fake wrestling stuff, WWE, WWF. And I always saw these characters in movies that were always super jacked. Like when you look at The Rock, you think, oh, okay, that's something I can aspire to. Now, I didn't realize at the time that The Rock's on all the steroids, but hear me out. Hear me out, guys. So I was always stocky as a kid. I was never really tall and lengthy. I was fairly tall compared to my peers, but I wasn't lengthy, and I was just kind of stocky. And I thought that once I hit puberty, that would all change. I genuinely thought, okay, I'm going to hit puberty. I'm going to be super jacked. It's going to be a fantastic time. I'm going to enjoy it so thoroughly. And that didn't happen. I was robbed of my puberty. I don't know why I thought that. I just thought that's how puberty worked. But again, boy, was I wrong. And it was about sophomore year or so that I started lifting. I was still pretty small. I think I was about, I was definitely really, really small. It was about sophomore year. I think I was 5'10", 5'9", 5'10", and about 140 or so. And at that 140, I had no muscle mass, and I was kind of skinny fat. I wasn't really tall and lengthy, but I just had like this weird skinny fat. It was the weirdest. My body was just fucked up looking. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. So my friend was going to the gym. He was making all these great gains, and I was like, okay, that's what I want. So I asked him if he would take me, and he said, yeah, sure. So I ended up going for about 3 months. I got no gains. I made no progress. I was kind of just going through the motions. And so when I look back, it makes sense why I didn't gain any weight. And I also was eating like shit, so it makes complete sense. So after those 3 months, because I was just kind of down on my luck, I just was bored of it, I quit for another few months. Then I decided again, okay, I'm going to give this another try. I am not giving up. I want to be sexy. I'm going to do the hard work. We're going to make it. So I ended up going again with the same exact friend. I said to him, listen, man, I know last time I made 0 gains, but hear me out. I can gain some muscle. You just got to help me a little bit. Teach me your ways. He was my elder brother. He was my dear elder brother, and he was teaching me the ways. So I go with him. I start to learn the trade. I ended up going multiple times a day. A couple times a day. I would go 5, 6, 7 days a week. And I would go 2 times most days. I would go in the mornings because my brother would leave for school at about 7 in the morning. And my gym opened up at 4:30. So I would wake up at 4 in the morning. I would get ready. I would go to the gym right before they open up. So I'd get there at about 4:20, 4:25. I would get a lift in for about an hour. I would drive home. I would sleep. My brother would take the car, go to school or whatever, come back, and then once he got back, I would take the car again, and I would go to the gym. So I was essentially sleeping, eating, and going to the gym. Those were my goals. Now, I did have school, but at this time I was doing online school, and I was paying 10 times more attention to the gym, to my nutrition, to my sleep habits over school. I could care less about school. I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less. That's the right word. I could not care less about school at that time. Now, you guys are probably thinking, what was my diet? For about a year and a half, I was eating the exact same thing. It was chicken tenderloins, green beans, brown rice. And I am telling you guys 100%, that is absolutely all I ate. I didn't know that I could rear off and kind of eat some junk food here, eat some junk food there. I thought I had to be strict as possible. So that's what I did. And I wanted to reach my goal of gaining more muscle and gaining more size. And I wanted it so bad that I was willing to sacrifice anything. For me, I personally don't really enjoy food all that much. I'll binge here and there with my friends, but I'm not really a foodie, I guess you can call it. So that's all I was eating. And I started noticing I was shredding weight pretty quickly. Now, because I was broke at the time, I wasn't buying a ton of food. I was still eating great protein, but I wasn't getting a whole lot of calories in. And I didn't know this at the time. So I started shredding down a lot. And I was still putting on muscle, but I was just shredding down so much. And I was surprised at how quick I was able to start shredding body fat. And within a year or two, I gained probably 10, 15, 20 pounds of muscle. And I lost another 15, 20 pounds of body fat. And I kind of recomped my physique a little bit. The things that I would do differently, again, looking at my nutrition profile, I would not do that. I don't think that that's the healthiest way. I think that it was an option for me, and it was the only option really because it was cheap and I knew that I had to eat healthy. But again, I would take a different route nutritionally. I know so much more, and I've not only tested but also viewed so much information online of different studies on how food affects your metabolism, your physique, your sleep. And my workouts were I was just mainly making them up. I didn't really have a set program. I kind of bounced around a little bit. For the most part, I was doing a heavy day. I think it was heavy. Yeah, that's what it was. It was heavy back biceps, light tricep, shoulders, and chest, legs, then light back bicep, and light tricep, chest, shoulders, and then repeat. So I was only doing legs once, but when I'd go to leg day, I was solely doing legs. And I honestly, that program, I feel like did a lot for me. I've changed a lot of my program now that I've done more research and I kind of understand fitness to a better degree now. And that's kind of why I like fitness. I think that there's so much that goes into it. There's so many different studies. There's so much info. But you never know what's going to work for you and for your genetic makeup. So when it comes to nutrition and your program, I highly suggest trying new stuff out. Try eating different foods, high carb, low carb, high protein. I would keep high protein just because, again, protein's the building block for muscle. But maybe low fat, high carb, low carb. I know a lot of people like keto, and you could see some people are super advocates for keto. Some people are super advocates for carnivore. Some people are even super advocates for vegetarian or vegan. Now, I don't think that's the best method of gaining muscle. The bioavailability of plant foods and plant proteins, it's not a very good absorption rate. So I personally would not go vegan or vegetarian, especially if you're trying to build muscle. And same thing with low carb. In my opinion, unless you're using carbs solely to carb load before a gym lift, if you're going to the gym often, glucose is good for you. You're going to be wanting to consume a lot of carbs. Me personally, I burn so many calories that it really helps my body to just function better eating high carb. If you're not working out often and if your life's kind of sedentary, I would say that low carb isn't a bad option. It's definitely not. Now, one thing that I think helped my program hugely was I was getting so much sleep. Again, when I got home from the gym, I was so tired that I would sleep for a solid 8-9 hours, and then I would go to the gym a few hours after waking up. I was just breaking my body down. I don't think I gave my body enough time to recover. And again, looking back at it, there's plenty of things I would have done differently, and that's why I created a fitness program, or I'm creating one. And again, I'll announce it on the channel when it is released, and I'll announce it on my Twitter. So, hope you guys enjoy this episode. If you guys want to check out my Twitter, it's down below. Thank you guys for watching.